well, before we get started, share, like, make sure you subscribe, and you guys make sure you tune into the This Trick is Sick every week. So, and I'm gonna try to kick these out every week, try to give a little bit of pointers, and try to hook you guys up. So, I'm wanting to show you this. This is to have to do with carburation. Your 4500 series, your 4150s. Any carburetors like that, mainly, you know, Hollies and stuff like that, where you got a dual line set up, where it's, you know, where you got to hook both lines up and stuff. Well, I've had a few issues. I've had some guys bring in some carburetors that basically they had screwed in a little knuckle into the bowls, on each end of the bowls. Now, if you guys know, I will show you here. Let me show you what I got here. I've got a little bit, I got my own little carb section here, but as you can see, that is like a number 8 end right here, and the other end is what hooks into your bolt. Let me look here. I will show you one that's already set up. I got several carburetors up here. And the deal is if you run into this issue, a lot of guys will go down and they will buy just, well, here, this is kind of what he brought me. Okay, you see those ends right there, these right here? You see how they do not have the little knuckles sticking out so that you could put your number 6 in, or your number 4, or your number 8, 10, whatever you want to do. They're missing there. That's actually called an inverted flare. Now, instead of going down and trying to, you know, I heard a guy say, you know, those are gas fittings and da-da-da-da-da. Now, he is right to a point, but you can order that stuff off of the internet. Summit Racing actually has a real good, you know, deal on those things. But the reason why I'm giving you a little tip and trick is that most guys will try to just buy the double pumper little linkage, and you know, some guys want a little bit more fuel than that. Now let me go out here and grab it real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, right here, this is what I'm talking about. You guys generally, let me set it down right here. You guys will generally go down and you'll pick one of these Mr. Gaskets, or you can get it from Summit Racing, or you'll get a Holly brand, and you'll just screw them in. And a lot of guys, you see how small this line is. I don't even remember what size this thing is. I know it's smaller than 3/8, but they're small. And you hook a little, you know, 3/8. But some of us like to do a lot more horsepower, especially if we're doing, you know, the 4500 series or a really turned up 4150. So, let me hang this thing back up because I'm not using it for that. All right. All right. Let's see these fittings. Right here, let's see if I can get it. I'm gonna have to get here where I can see it. Right there is the fitting I was talking about. And if you don't want to use that cheesy ass Holly or Mr. Gasket one, and what it is that it's flared right here. And you need to find out which, you know, how many turns. Is it 5/8 with 20 turns, or 18 turns and a 7/8? You'll have to know this fitting right here. If you don't, I think the stock basic Holly one that I showed you earlier, that little, you know, chrome line that went back and forth, I think that's the smaller one. I think it's the 18-5/8 or something like that. But the secret to it is it's called a inverted flare right there, and you can actually buy these things from Summit Racing. So I know these things are made not to and this is a 4500 series carburetor. So Grady, you hand me that wrench over. Thank you, sir. Put these bad boys on, and I know that they are supposed to seal. I just hate how you have to crank down on them so hard to get them to seal. So believe it or not, I will use the old water fuel. It's not necessarily a gasket mater, it's just a sealant. And I like to use a little bit around everything, and I've never had any issues. And I've had it where it's a little bit better than the, what's the old stuff? The old tape.
Oh, Teflon.
Teflon tape. I just, that tells you how long I haven't used it. I just don't use the shit anymore. So.
Stuff a lot aggravating.
Yep. And what you do is, I like to put a little bit on there. It don't hurt nothing. And if it does have a little seepage, it kind of stops that. So I'll crank down here on this. Let's see, what is this? This is a Devane carburetor. And I think the guy I'm doing this for said this came out of Florida. So this is a pretty bad deal. What happened was right here, this is all he had from a buddy he got, and when they were putting them in, they accidentally stripped them, but they did get them to seal. So they're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And then they had to try to find the particular fitting that would fit these, because they couldn't find out what would fit it, because all they could find down at their local hardware store or any place like that was that damn, you know, the chrome rail.
Right
there.
Well, they don't make them out of good metal.
And you know, after you research it a little bit, you can find out that you can buy these inverted flares ready to rock and roll. So, and you can buy these different sizes right here. This is the number 8. You can get a number 10. You can get a number 6. You can get a 4. They ask you all kinds of questions. So, but get this bad boy on here. I do. I like to use a little bit of that shit on everything, all my fittings, and I never have leaks. You know, people say it's overkill. You don't have to do it. And every time I watch them fight leaks, and I just sit and grin, and I just think, just a little extra precaution, and you'd be all right. So, and I can't say too much about the car that I'm working on right now, because this guy races. And he races street outlaw boys and stuff like that, and I can tell you that it's well over 500 cubic inch. Isn't that right, Grady?
Yes, sir.
And another tip and trick, I know that you guys have issues with getting these Parker push lock fittings here onto you know, you can buy the little tool that puts these things on that you strap in a vise, and you can do all that stuff. And a lot of guys, I've even seen, you know, my stepdad and everybody else, they'll heat this up and they'll accidentally burn it or whatever, and they're trying to get it on, and it does go on a little bit easier once you make this pliable. But like Grady was saying, it kind of breaks down the material. And what I have found is that if you, now I'm gonna give you a little tip and trick here. This is big. Instead of buying all that stuff, strap this into a vise. And what you do is that you take one of your fittings and heat it up with a little torch. Nice and easy till it gets real hot. And you ain't got much time, because aluminum actually dissipates the heat really fast. So you wanna have it ready. As soon as you set it down, stick it right there, and that thing will go on like butter. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of camera action of one that I've got inside, and actually this fitting, you see, is pretty good size. But believe it or not, I'm going to go 2 sizes up on this and still put it on this, and it'll go on like butter. So remember, you don't have to buy lube, you don't have to buy special tools, nothing. You ain't got to. And you don't have to fight it. The fighting is over. I figured this out in my shop one day. I decided to heat just the fitting up itself, and it went on like butter. So I was like, oh my God, why hasn't anybody told me this? So I'm gonna show you guys that. And I got a piece of hose here. I've already done this side right here with the smaller one. Now this one's enormous. See how just, I mean, this side is just, my God, you would be fighting this to kill yourself. I mean, it'd be a bad deal. I just noticed that it would go down easier, you know what I mean? When I heated only this, no lube and nothing. Like you said, I think it melts around it or something.
It bonds to it once it cooks, the aluminum comes
down. I'll try to work it on there. And believe it or not, that is tough, but there was no way earlier I could have ever got that on there. That's insane, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, you're right. Once you get that sucker where it's, you know, it'll never come off. It's like, holy smokes. But I noticed that it'll go on. Now, if you use the right fitting, which is on this side right here, it goes on way easy. I can do it out here in the open and just do it. But when you do 2 sizes up, look how big it's swelling it out. When you do 2 sizes up, there's no way you could get this on with just lube. And I don't even think with the special tool that I have. But see how it's going right down on there? There it is. Went right on, didn't it?
Success.
That's it. And I know there'll be people on the internet bitching about all that, but I tell you what, we don't break down very often either.
No.
So, and there's a reason behind it. That's maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. So. Grocery getter. Any of you guys like to have a grocery getter like this? Y'all make sure to give us a call.